This is the Marcia Week Show, and we're coming to you live from Barbados. Hey there. A pleasant good afternoon to you, folks. Hey, I'm coming to you live from Barbados. Those of you who are watching me for the first time, this is a Marcia Rich show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. It's beautiful and it's sunny here in Barbados. Unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of rain right now, and we're really hoping that that is going to change. I am seeing people are logging on already. Isn't it a beautiful day? It is a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful day because we say it's a beautiful day. We are saying it's a beautiful day. Those of you who are logging on from watching me on Caribbean, can you imagine that? 16 different Caribbean countries. I say hello to you and welcome. Those who are on social media, whether you're watching me live or you're watching the recording, you need to share it. If the program means something to you, share it, okay? And let someone know that we're actually on. Those of you who are on, let me know where you're watching from. Where are you watching from? It'd be great for you to let me know that. Yes, wonderful. Today we're going to talk about Hebrews to Negroes show. What's happening there? It's going to South Africa. Is it? Oh my goodness! Anybody out there watch Hebrews to Negroes? This is a movie, y'all, that I believe that every Caribbean person needs to watch. Every person with this amount of melanin in your skin, you need to watch it. Every person who identifies with being black should watch that film because it is quite educational. It's really debunking a lot of things that we thought were truth, right? A lot of things that we thought were truth. This movie is debunking a lot of that. Hi, Olufemi. Welcome. It is debunking a lot of lies. It's really talking to us about our identity, giving us an idea of really who we are. And we have come up as Black people here in the Caribbean, and we've been told one narrative, right? We've been told a particular type of narrative, and here it is that something new is happening. There's something new. And I believe that, as I said, every Caribbean person needs to watch that film and be able to get a glimpse of who we are really are as a people. And when you realize that it is going to cause you to walk with your shoulders square, your head up, because there's a sense of identity, about who we are, and which is important in this time. Identity is important. We look on the television screen, and they want to tell us who we are. You go to whatever function we go to, whatever country we're living in, and it wants to tell us who we are. Even back in the time of slavery, they gave the enslaved people their slave Bible to read, because they believed that that would cause them to see themselves less than who they really are. And so the Ronald Dalton movie, The Hebrews to Negroes, is a good place to start. um, yeah, in acknowledge who we are. Yes, I understand we are Bantu. Yes, and there's some people who've moved along from being Hebrews to Negroes, and they recognize themselves as Bantu, which is fantastic. But one of the things that we want to make sure is that we accept people where they are. There's some people who have nothing to do with it. They're not interested in knowing it, nothing more than they were born here in the Caribbean. But in the Hebrews to Negroes movie, when I watched it first, my eyes were just open wide, really, to the fact that, you know what, in when the Bible talks about the Hebrews, it's me, it's my ancestors. And I know for some of you, you're wondering what is she saying, but you need to watch this film. And I'm hoping that the producer of the film is going to be able to come on. And anything Africa is just beautiful, for me to be involved in. Last week we're talking about movies, but I'm going to let me just say, let me show you the website, and then I'm going to talk to you about my weekend that I had last week. Here is this picture really is of Ronald Dalton. Here he's on your right, and he's a producer of the film, and he's here speaking in South Africa about the film Hebrews to Negroes that is going to be um, be screening in South Africa. And details, we're going to get some more details on that, but I think it's wonderful, that Africa is waking up. Africa is waking up, and to who they really are. One time we were saying, you know what, we are Africans, and yes, we're Africans, but we're also Hebrews. And the movie Hebrews to Negroes that you're seeing on the screen right now is really talking about that and educating us about it. It's a lot of research that has been put in this, that Ronald Dalton has put into this film. And he goes into talking about the greatest identity theft of all mankind. Do you want to know about that? The greatest identity theft of all mankind. And the movie is saying the greatest identity theft of all mankind is Black people being robbed of their true identity. Black people all over the world, whether in Africa, outside of Africa, being robbed of their true identity. And through this movie, Ronald takes us on a journey, people, to the true identity as Hebrews. And believe it or not, there are lots of Hebrews communities here in the Caribbean. There are people that I've met, guys, that who are, they're in their 70s and 80s, and told me that they've always knew that they were Hebrews. And I'm like, what? And they said, yes, I knew that since I was a child, my entire family. And that was our culture. We understood that's who we were. And I said, but how did they know? And he said, oh, but their grandparents told them, and their other grandparents told them. And so it's been passed on from generations, y'all. And so this movie Hebrews to Negroes is being premiered in South Africa. And what a fantastic way for this information to go out to South Africa. And hopefully, this is something that could go throughout the entire region. If you've not watched Hebrews to Negroes movie, you can watch it on Amazon. Okay, so it is on Amazon, and you can go on Amazon and watch it. This is the same movie that Kyrie Irving tweeted about watching it. And he said, when he tweeted it, he said he's trying to find his identity. And so he reached for this, and recognizing that he's a Hebrew. Uh, and so this is what this movie is doing. And this, as I said, if you have not seen the film as yet, you can watch the film on Amazon. You can rent it on Amazon, and and make a good. It's a great piece of work, great piece of work. And it will be premiered in South Africa. That's its Africa debut. And throughout, it will be going throughout the entire region. And hopefully we can get a premiere here in the Caribbean. I'll tell you about it once we have it. And we are trusting that the producer will be able to come on with us and tell us more about what's happening in South Africa. But let me just, we are in South Africa and we're going to mosey on over to Guyana, to Ghana. What am I talking about, Guyana? We're going to go over to Ghana. And people, I have to show you this picture. I have to show you this picture. Listen, you all know what this is? If you know what this is, put it in the tab. Put it in the write it in the comment section. Folks, this is jollof rice, okay? This is jollof rice, and this on the side here, on the left there of the rice, is a sauce that, oh my gosh. Listen, folks, this is delicious. I had this on, this is a sauce made of tomato paste and actual tomatoes, lots of tomatoes here. And my jollof rice was totally vegetarian. I'm not a big into a lot of rice eating in these days, but I had to taste this jollof rice with that sauce, with that sauce. And then you have your fried plantains here on the side, and some lettuce there. But let me tell you, this was delicious. The Ghanaians in Barbados, we have quite a number of Ghanaian nurses here in Barbados, and they put on a big birthday splash for three of the nurses and invited us. Food galore. We were eating all kinds of soups and the banku, I think you call it. And it was delicious. And my favorite on that evening was the jollof rice, the way it was prepared along with that sauce. Those prepared together, oh my Lord, delicious, can done, I tell you. And then they had the Killy Willy, right? They had Killy Willy, and Killy Willy is really a spicy fried plantain where they soak it in, they marinate the plantain, the ripe plantain in ginger, right? And I'm sorry, I don't have a picture for that one here, but they marinate the plantain in ginger and in cayenne pepper and lots of other spices. And and listen, it is mwah, delicious. Oh my goodness. I had to reach back out to one of my Ghanaian friends to ask her, can you make some more for me, please? So we're gonna see if she can make some more of this jollof rice for me. Yeah, anybody anybody's had the jollof rice? Anybody's had jollof rice? If you're from the Caribbean and you've had jollof rice, listen. So this is all about the African connection, And I see Olufimi saying the movie should be banned to Negro. Well, you know what? It's when the movie was made, and that's the knowledge that he has. And I think it's, for me, I am not getting into semantics and all of that. I'm going to celebrate that movie as it is, because introduction it's an introduction to the awakening, and I celebrate it. And it's wonderful. And if you are seeing, as you have the scripture here, that it's the Bantu people, I know Ronald knows that already, but the name of the movie was out way before all of this new revelation. So it is Hebrews to Negroes. That's a movie that you look for on Amazon. All right, so jollof rice. And Olufimi, you had jollof rice? Anybody on here had any jollof rice? Listen, this thing is delicious, delicious. There's a big friendly row between Nigeria and Ghana, trying to say which one, they're trying to figure out who has the better jollof rice. you know. Oh, I don't know, I've not had I've not had the Nigerian jollof rice. I don't think I had the Nigerian jollof rice, so I am not sure which one is better. I don't know if they have jollof rice in South Africa, but I know for sure the Ghanaian one is delicious. Mr. Ronald Dalton is in the studio. I'm going to ask him, we're going to talk about the movie, but I want to know if he's had the Ghanaian jollof rice or the jollof rice in Nigeria, and which one he thinks is better. Hi, welcome, Ronald. Welcome to the Marcy Reed
Yeah.
Show.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
I know you came on to talk about Hebrews and Negroes, which I just did a full little section on it. But we're still in Africa, and I brought up on the screen my Ghanaian jollof rice that I had on Mother's Day, and it was so delicious. So before we jump into talking about Hebrews to Negroes, I want to know: did you try the jollof rice in Ghana?
Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
You don't sound too convinced. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it. The plantain, the jollof rice. Um, I've had some in Nigeria too. They have a Nigerian restaurant in America, and I tried it, and they said they had the best jollof rice. And I said, "Oh." And then a guy that was with me from Ghana, Togo, he said, "No, we got the best jollof rice." And I said, well, "Who has the best jollof rice?" So everybody will say different things depending on what country they're from. But it was either way, it was both delicious. The jollof rice, yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very delicious. Very delicious. Well, you are there in South Africa at the moment, and can you what's happening in South Africa right now? Right now in Barbados, I'm in Barbados, and it's very, very hot. No rain. We're having problems with with a drought. They're thinking that we're going to have we're in drought, and we're not
Mhm.
allowed to use our hose, etc. What's the weather like there in South Africa?
It's um it's been raining a lot here, but some days it's hot and sunny, and some days it's slightly cool and
Mm-hmm.
raining. But it's getting towards the winter season here
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
since we're
Okay, so
going
it's
into June.
it's getting cool. It's getting cool there now.
Yeah, yeah, but it still feels like high 70s, maybe 80s, in the low 80s, depending on the day. When it starts to get towards the sundown, then
Mm-hmm.
like around 6 o'clock, then it starts to get cool. Especially if the sun's not out and the clouds are out and it's about to start raining.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was in South Africa, and when we went, nobody told us we were going in summer, and we didn't realize I think we went in August, and we didn't realize it was winter, and
Mhm.
we were so cold because we weren't prepared for it, and so, but it was still a wonderful, wonderful experience. But you know what, we want to talk about Hebrews to Negroes being premiered in South Africa. I mean, just the sound of that is, it just sounds powerful and earth shattering,
Mhm.
Hebrews to Negroes premieres in South Africa. I wish I could be there. Tell us what's happening with that.
Um, there's a lot of excitement from the people that's here. We've been doing a lot of street team marketing and really hitting the different suburbs and towns in South Africa because a lot of the marketing companies here they are scared to promote Hebrews to Negroes. So you
Mm.
can sit down you can sit
Oh,
down
you
with
mean
them.
they're scared to promote it? I mean, this
Yeah.
is such a powerful movie that, Dave and I, we watched this movie, Ronald. I would have to say it was during COVID that someone told us about the movie. and we watched it, I mean, and totally changed our lives. I mean, the kind of information. So I would love to know, why would they not want to promote something that's so educational?
Well, usually what happens is you contact them email, and then they email you back. They say, hey, can you meet us at the office or at lunch or dinner? And then you go to meet with them, and they sit down. They say, okay, what is it that you need us to do? How can we help you? And then I talk about the movie, the premiere at the venue, and they say, well, can we see the trailer? And I say, sure. And I give them, and I show them the trailer, and they look at it. And these are all black people, uh, and a lot of them, I will ask them, I'll say, is this black owned? And they'll say, yes, 100%. And I'll say, okay. I said, is there any Europeans working for you? Or Caucasians? Are there any working here right now that have any role in the decisions? And they say, no, but some do work here, and some have a partnership or a stake in the company. Not all the time do they disclose the percentage of the stakeholding in the company, but they look at the trailer, and they look at it, and they say, "Wow." They say, "Wow." They just go, "Wow." And they tell somebody else, "Come in here, like come here, look at this. You look at this, come here." And then somebody leaves the office, comes in, sits down, and looks at it again, and they say, "This is in America." I say, "Yeah, it's been going on in America since 2018. It's on Amazon." And they say, "Really?" They say, "How come we don't know about this?" And I said, "Because the powers that be want you guys not to get this information." And they said, "Well, I'm glad you're here." I said, "Oh, I'm glad I'm here too." And so then they see it, and they get all excited, and they say, I think we can do this, and I'm excited. Let's get a plan. We'll get back with you in a day or two after we talk to the people in the higher levels and get the approval. And usually when they do that, uh, they either don't call back, don't email, and then we usually have to chase them down and say, "Hey, what happened to the to the meeting? You said you was gonna get back with us in a day or two, and let us know." And then usually, either I got to call the owner, I got to call the manager or the assistant or the secretary to get some type of answers, and then usually they'll say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We've been busy, but yeah, we looked at it. We did some research, and unfortunately, we cannot help you with this project and promotion because there's a lot of backlash uh, and things that we might encounter if we promote this movie." And I said, "Backlash from who?" And they said, "Well, you know." I said, "No, I don't know. Can you tell me who's the backlash? What are you worried about? What's the worry for? Who's going to be offended or upset or have an issue with this movie in Africa that says it's Wake Up Black America, but yes, it's also Wake Up Africa." So in the flyers, we're promoting is, of course, we're not going to stay on the flyer Wake Up Black America because we're in Africa. So the flyer we've been promoting the words "Wake Up Africa" because essentially this is a movie that can also wake up Africa. And they just who they are talking about that's not going to sit well with the movie. And I said, is it the Jews or is it Europeans, the Dutch, the British, whoever? And they say, well, yeah, yeah, well, I said, black people ain't got a problem with this because the majority of people that have seen the movie, in my opinion, are black. Why else would the movie have such high ratings and been on the market since 2018? I'm pretty sure that the majority of marketers to watch this movie is not white people more than black people. So they just it's really at the end of the day is as these black companies they have business relationships and contracts, and they have customers that are Jewish and European, and they don't want to offend their customers or their relationships with the contracts. So instead of risking losing thousands, if not millions of dollars in partnerships and money in terms of customers and sales, uh, they would rather forego the promotion of a movie that can help wake up Africa and help to change the narrative that the colonizers placed on the people in the diaspora and in Africa, because the narrative, of course, even in Africa, is that the Jews are white and Jesus is white, and everything in the Bible is white, and everything is black is wrong, and that they are the saviors. They're the ones that came and saved Africa. And so so identity, it's an identity issue that they know that it's affecting the youth of Africa, because right now the in Africa the age is young. A lot of people here in
Mm-hmm.
Africa are
Mm-hmm.
younger than me. I'm
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of people in Africa with gray hair or gray beard.
You're
And
so right.
yeah, if you ask the people there, you say, how old are you? They'll say 20, 30. It's it's a young population. So the youth are they're westernized. They're looking at the same thing we're looking at in America. They like the same kind of music, including Afro beats and Mapiano. And and so the more generations of people that come after us, they get more and more out of touch with their identity and what their ancestors and elders told their grandparents, and the traditions and customs that they kept back in the day. So the marketing companies just don't want to shake the boat and or stir up any issues, and that's really at the end of the day what it boils down to.
Yes, sorry, very sorry about that break, guys. We just had a little technical issue. Yeah, I mean, this is listening to you, Ronald. I'm just like totally amazed at that response because that the fair would be there, and it's obviously it is something that they want to see because, as you're saying, when they see it first, they're so excited, but then they realize the repercussions because of those that they're connected with, and
Mhm.
the networks there. I've done some work with in South Africa, not a lot, but in terms of I had to work with distributors, and I know that when you begin to peel everything back, you realize that a lot of the owners, the true owners, are not the black people you see in the front, right? And the people who are
Right.
pulling the strings, and so they are concerned about that, which is so unfortunate that that would be the case. And they miss that opportunity. But even though, even I'm sorry I'm not able to show all the videos, but even though the mainstream marketing companies and media houses aren't taking the film, but I mean, there seem to be the people on the ground seem to be looking forward to the premiere. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the smaller radio stations in the the black inner cities, or in America we might call them the ghetto, the projects, where the concentration of people in the suburbs are black and not a mixture of whites and Indians and Asians and Jews and Arabs and Chinese. These areas, that radio stations, they don't have an issue with um, having me on the show and talking about the movie. But in the city of Johannesburg, you have suburbs where there's people of other nations, and these radio stations, they're scared to really host me on their radio station, talk about this event, because they know that the goal is to not keep the black man from waking up. And so the people on the ground, when you give them the flyer, they look at it and it's almost like a shock because they look at it and they never have seen something like this before, and they say, "What's this?" And they see Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Africa, and then they look at the back and they ask what it's about, and we say what's about, and they say this is good stuff. I'm gonna come check it out. Um, it's something that's different, is new, and they're not used to this type of movies being shown here because they have the same Hollywood movies here, such as Guardians of the Galaxy and Fast and the Furious 10 and The Little Mermaid and Spider Man and all this Thor and Super Mario Brothers and all these movies that we see in America. They have it here. They have Netflix here and Amazon and Showmax. So the people here are looking at the same thing we're looking at in America. So, but not Hebrews Negroes. Hebrews Negroes is something that is totally brand new to them. But the people have been excited about coming to the venue to see the movie and be a part of this event. And as you already know, the powers that be, they kind of did an interception to slow down this screening by telling the people that I did the contract with that they had to cancel the contract agreement and shut down the event. And this is coming from higher up levels.
So you're
So
saying you were in contract with them, and they now decided they would return your deposit and not have you screen the movie there.
yeah. So I signed the contract in March
Yes.
and made payment with the movie exhibitor company. That's the largest company that's in South Africa that they do a lot of the screenings of movies. And they're there. You can see them in the movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
their logo. And yeah, they got a call from somebody way at the top, a top executive decision. They told them, cancel the agreement, cancel the event, and this is non-negotiable. And they did not give a reason why that they had canceled the event just on a whim. And usually a contract is a contract, and in the contract, there's only certain instances where they can the hiree, because I'm the hirer, the hiree, which is the establishment, that they can say we're canceling the event. Usually like if there's an act of God, like a hurricane or an earthquake or tornado or a terrorist attack or a bomb, something that normally doesn't happen. These kind of can justify uh, them canceling an event, you know, just like that. But usually it's the other way around. Usually it's the hirer that usually, if something happens, if you get sick, something happens and he gets killed, and then the person that put together the movie screening would have to cancel the event. But in this case, I'm not the one that canceled the event. It's those that are at the high level in South Africa that control and own all pretty much many of the hotels, casinos, and movie theaters. So this was done at a high level decision, and somebody got a phone call in the month of May, because
Mm-hmm.
this was signed in March. So two
Mm-hmm.
months went by, and somebody in the top level got a phone call, and they said shut this down.
Wow. Wow, guys, if you are watching this, I mean, and just listening to this, those of you who have watched the movie, you know that this is nothing but enlightenment, and to see that this is the response to it. It makes you wonder, Ronald, it makes me wonder what are they really afraid of, because as I said, I watched the movie at the beginning of the pandemic, and it has really, really changed my life. And so I'm really surprised that this is happening. But it's truth, and a lot of times when we are so conditioned to lies. We live off lies. We all we know is lies. When truth comes, sometimes it is difficult, and we can't accept it. And those who are in power, or those they sometimes they worry that they might lose control if the real truth gets out there, and the identity, people begin to hold on to their identity. Someone is asking here, the question is, but is Hebrew to Negroes fact or fiction? This person is asking.
uh, of course, it's a fact. It's not a fiction. If it was a fiction, then the America would not have cared if Kyrie Irving posted a link to a movie to the whole world. The United States mass media and the Jewish community would not have cared because this is a fictional movie. It's like watching, like Wakanda Forever, or some movie that's fictional. They don't. Why would they care about something that's fictional? They care about this movie because the movie has the facts and the information and research to back up everything that we've been saying, and to just prove who they say they are. And it's not an issue of it's not we're not saying we hate people, because at the end of the day, if you simply prove that if we're saying that you're not the descendant of Shem, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but you are the descendant of Noah's other son, Japheth, uh, Japheth, because the Bible says that Noah had three sons. And if we prove in the documentary that you are not the descendants of Shem, but you are the descendants of Japheth, Noah's oldest son, I mean, don't get mad. Don't get mad about
Right,
that.
right. What is the issue? Is not that and that's the thing. I went back after the all the controversy happened in America when Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, tweeted about the movie, and they were ready to take all of his contracts away from him. He just tweeted about the movie that is helping him to find his identity. And you literally, I had to go back and watch the film because I'm wondering, is there something in it that I missed? And I realize, as you just said, I realize that there is just that fear of us waking up. And if this sleeping giant would wake up and shake ourselves and realize who we are, oh my goodness, I know that they would be trembling in their boots. And I think that is what is happening. Guys who are on, can you share the live? I didn't announce I was coming on. And I want you to share the live, guys, because this is a really powerful stuff. And here it is. Ronald has researched this documentary thoroughly, researched it, spent years doing it, and has put it out, and going through just so much, because of it. Ronald, is there a time when you feel sometimes you would just give up? Because if you I know how it is, you're premiering a film, right? You have the thing all ready to go, and here the cinema pulls on you. The cinema says, no, you can't come here anymore after they took your money. What do you do? I mean, as a producer, what kind of state of mind are you in?
Well, I'm used to this from America, so I always had the background of my mind. I said, every week that went by, I said, I didn't get an email yet saying that they canceled the event. I said, I wonder what's going on here, because I could swear that by now somebody knows about this movie that's not black, and or the Jewish community, and if they're gonna let this go down without a fight, then hey, maybe Africa is where it's at, and you got freedom of speech, and you got ability to express yourself in Africa without the gatekeepers in America, breathing down your neck and your back like they did with Kyrie. You can't do anything. But I figured out and learned, and I anticipated that they would try to intercept this movie, and they did. And I said, okay, well, we got a backup plan. And it's see, the thing is, you got to look at it like, this is, say, for instance, I'm the king, and the king goes to battle, and the rest of the kingdom is waiting to see who's going to win the battle. And during the battle, some guy that just hates the king, and he's not a legit a person to the throne, a commoner. Say he kidnaps the king and plots to kidnap the king, and then throw him in a dungeon or a cell, and he comes back to the kingdom and says the king died in battle. He's not the king anymore, and he didn't leave any children, so I'm the king now. And everybody's looking at this guy like, now you're the king. No, and then he's like, yeah, I'm the king. You got to bow down to me. And I'm gonna change everything this last king that you guys love did. I'm gonna change everything around. You guys are gonna hate me, but I'm the king now. But the king somehow gets out of the cell like years later and says, I didn't die in battle. This guy, he made it seem as though I died and replaced me because he wanted to be the king all along. He conspired. He just hated the fact that I was the king. And then here I am 5 years later with a beard. I'm older. I'm like, I'm the king. I'm the one that wanted the battle. I didn't die. I'm here. I'm the king now. So put me back on the throne, people. And so just like in the movie Lion King, you had Simba, you had Scar. Simba was the male baby lion that was the heir to the throne because his daddy died, and Scar wanted to be the king, even though he wasn't legitimate to the king. And Scar was the lion that had the thing on his eye. And eventually, Simba grew up to be a young lion, and they found that he was the true heir to the throne to be the true Lion King. And Scar was the imposter. He was the one that usurped the throne illegitimately. So so you got to understand this is an identity hijack and theft. And in order to preserve the lie for thousands of years to the people that we are the true children of Israel, and all the Israelites were white. The children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Shemites, they were all white. In order to preserve this lie, you have to hide the truth or conceal it or ban it, censor it, punish anybody that tries to speak or show a movie that says otherwise. And this is the tactics that you do when you don't want something to come out. You hide it, you conceal it, you tuck it away, you censor it, you ban it. If they could, they would ban a lot of things. But the Most High has a plan in everything. Even the good and the evil that happens in the world is all part of His master plan. So even if the Gentiles uh, translated our books and authorized them and kept some books hidden and said, you guys are going to have these books and not these books, and we're going to change things around and we're going to make you guys confused, and we're going to give you a whitenized doctrine of Christianity and tell you to believe it. The Most High still has a plan for that, because at the end of the day, He's not going to let us stay lost forever. We're gonna find out who we are through the Spirit of God, just like the dry bones had the breath of the Ruach breathed into them, and then they become a massive army. The same spiritual awakening is a move of the Most High. It's the Spirit, the Ruach that's covering and moving across Africa and America and the Caribbean to where Black people are now connecting back to their roots and identifying themselves with the true children of Israel. This is a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that by us waking up in the Caribbean and America and Africa, that our enemies and those that they're trying to conceal this truth is going to fight back. Of course they're going to fight back because they don't want this lie to be exposed. And this is exactly what's happening in South Africa, because they know that if it starts to become a catalyst in South Africa amongst the people, and the radio starts talking about it, the people start talking about it, then eventually it's going to hit Zimbabwe, Botswana, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, Angola, Congo, Gabon, Cameroon, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, Ghana, Ivory. It's gonna start spreading like wildfire, because people in Africa are gonna start talking about it, and they're gonna say, "We watched an awesome movie at this premiere, and a lot of knowledge was dropped on us, and we did not know this movie existed. This movie that we saw is on Amazon." And if people back home say, "Hey, how was the movie?" "It was great. You need to watch it." "Oh, but the event, it passed. How can I see it?" "Oh, it's on Amazon." So now everybody in South Africa can start spreading the word. watch the movie. It's on Amazon right now. You can go to Amazon right now and stream it. And the powers that be know that it's on Amazon, and you can watch it in Nigeria and Ghana and South Africa. I actually had two people contact me this week from Nigeria and Ghana, and they said, "How do we watch the movie Hebrews to Negroes?" And I said, "It's on Amazon." And they said, "How? We can't find it." And I gave them instructions, and they said, "Oh, we found it. We're watching it right now." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "This is what needs to happen." Don't get discouraged because it's not being shown right now in your movie theater. I'm not there to do a premiere, but let's believe the simple fact that it's still on Amazon is God's work, and this is the reason why the Jews in America tried so hard. They're probably still trying to ban Hebrews to Negroes from all digital and physical platforms on Amazon and in America. So if they had it their way, Amazon would not carry the Hebrews to Negroes books or the movies. So you would not be able to find Hebrews to Negroes unless you knew about Hebrews to Negroes TV.com and H2NTV.com. So this is a blessing in disguise that is happening, and we need to take advantage of it. But the powers that be are not happy. They're not happy at all.
No, they're not. And and I'm sitting at you and I looking at you and want to say thank you, Ronald, because this was a big part of my awakening, and coming into understanding about my identity. And you know what's great about it, guys who are watching? This is not about hating anyone actually. You see the smile on my face? That's what it's done. It's not anything that causes me to hate another group of people. No, I don't. It's understanding. It's coming into that identity of who you are. And remember, I said at the top of the show, you start to square your shoulders, man. You put a smile on your face, a head back, and you're walking strong because you know who you are. And I think that that is important. And anyone who tries to come up against that, I mean, that is such an evil thing that would want to take that sense of pride from you, and just self-worth and esteem away from you. You know that that is a bad person and a bad situation, and that's what they're trying to do in South Africa. But as the Most High would have it, Amazon, regardless of what this movie has been through in America, let me tell you, it was on almost every network where they were talking about this film in America a couple months ago. And everybody was saying Amazon needs to take it down, and Amazon could not take it down. It's not that they didn't want to, but they couldn't. And it's
Mhm.
still there. It's a miracle. Ron, you said it the right thing. It's a miracle that it's there. And so
Yeah.
those of you who are watching, whether you're watching throughout the different Caribbean islands, you're watching it live or you're watching the recording, listen, go to Amazon and you find this movie and watch this movie, because let me tell you, we are waking up, whether they want us to wake up or not. It's not about them, it's about the timing and the season we're in. And it's a season of waking up. We're not sleeping anymore. So all of Africa gonna wake up, in the Caribbean gonna wake up, and in the Americas gonna wake up, right? So we getting up, we're waking up, right? I want to ask you something. You were talking about you say Hebrews to Negroes, and there's someone in my chat here, and he says the movie should be Bantu to Negroes. And as I told him, listen, we want to embrace all, and we're just happy for the waking up that we're not going to be quarreling with our brothers and sisters. We're not involved in all of that negativity. It's all about us coming together. But I just want to know your thoughts. I gave you my thoughts about the idea about the Bantu to Negroes. I wanted to hear your thoughts about what he's suggesting.
Well, you see, the people there are people that have a problem with the word Hebrews to Negroes, and first, the word Hebrew uh, is in English is Hebrew, and we know that there's a Hebrew language. We know that there's a Hebrew language that can go back to the time of Moses, and they call that Proto-Sinaitic Hebrew. That's the Hebrew that was used before Mount Sinai. Proto-Sinaitic Hebrew dates back to almost 2000 BC, and it's more like pictures or hieroglyphs than it is like characters and letters. And and this is what the ancients wrote back in the day. They found a cave in the Congo that had, I think, 17 out of the 22 Hebrew ancient pictographs. So look at the ancient Hebrew pictographs, uh, the like hieroglyphics that was used 4,000 years ago. And 17 out of 22 of these ancient Hebrew pictographs was found in a cave or caves in the Congo, which was part of the, Bantu expansion, Central Africa. So it shows us that, and actually know people in the Congo, and they showed me the caves, uh, pictures of the caves that people probably haven't even seen on YouTube. And I said, these are the same symbols that are on my movie poster for Hebrews to Negroes. I said, this symbol right here, this one right here. I said, it's inside, it's on the caves. I said, wow, this is amazing. And it's not a modern Hebrew, Syriac Hebrew, Babylonian Hebrew. Um, no, this is pictograph Proto-Sinaitic Hebrew that existed in 2000 BC, before the word Bantu probably was even a word in existence, because the word Bantu means people or the people, and the word Muntu means a person, and there's different variations of the word Muntu, depending on if you're in Malawi or Congo or Kenya or Tanzania or South Africa or Zimbabwe. They're gonna say it with variations, and you may have, instead of the Muntu, they have Munthu, Muntu, but it still kind of sounds the same. So you have Muntu, person, and Bantu, people. And that's all the word Bantu really means, the people or people. So if you were listening to a Bantu person talk, and if they say the word people in their discussions in their language, you're going to hear the word Bantu. Just as if you are listening to somebody from the Ewe tribe in Ghana, Togo, and if they're speaking in a language and you hear the word Mawu come out, you know that they just said the word God. And you say, did you say God? Was you just praying and you said God? And they said, yes, Mawu is God. Same thing, different countries have different names for God. Different tribes and dialects, they have different names for God. But, in West Africa, if you say the word people in the Ashanti language or Abanti or Ga, most likely they're not going to say Bantu for the word people. But that doesn't mean that they're not connected to the Bantu people, because they have the same DNA as the Bantu people in the Congo or Zimbabwe, Angola, Zambia, South Africa, the same DNA from the father. So, um, and sometimes when you talk to West Africans, like in Senegal and Gambia and Liberia, Mali, they're not going to identify as being Bantu people. They're not going to say the word Bantu people. If you go to Ethiopia, they're not going to say we're Bantu people. They will tell you that they are connected to the ancient Israelites. Yes, they'll tell you that, but then they're not going to say, if you say, "Are you Bantu people?" They're gonna, "Are you Bantu?" And they're going to say, "Huh? No, well, no, we never heard of that word." They might not use that word Bantu for the word people. So what is mostly something that people all understand? It's the word Hebrew, because
Mm-hmm.
we all speak either English or Portuguese or French or Spanish, and in the Christian church, we know what the word Hebrew means. We know there's the Hebrew language, and it's easy for somebody in America, South America, the Caribbean, Africa, anywhere in the world, to associate the word Hebrew with the Hebrews, like Abraham, the Hebrew,
Mm-hmm.
and and so this is how we don't exclude other people that may also say that they are connected to the ancient Israelites or the Hebrews, and they might be living in Papua New Guinea and Melanesia and any of these other islands in Pacific Islands, and they're not going to say that we're Bantu people. They're going to say that they're of their tribe and from that the island. But we can't just we can't just say Bantu to Negroes, because then we're excluding people that don't even know what the word Bantu means.
So you're saying the
But
word Hebrews, it's more, it's general, and it is speaking to more people. And
yeah,
you know, I often say to us as people of color that we need to find the things we have in common and work with those things. You know,
yeah,
and we're not going to get tied down with semantics. And I
mhm,
think sometimes we lose track of what we need to happen. You know, we want to do it ourselves. We either that we are trusting the Most High or we're not. You know, and if you are going to believe that because I don't use a certain terminology, then you know, I'm going to something is wrong with me. Then you know, what can I say? I think that we need to put our eyes on the prize and stop the arguing. Somebody in the chat says to have a session on my show with you and Eldon and Kosi. And my question to that person is, to what end? My show is about education. We're not going to be
mhm,
using a show to be arguing or anything like that. That's not the purpose of the show. I will never waste my time doing something like that at all. Never. Anybody who knows me know I would never. I listen, Ron. I am too excited about this new, you know, this education that's happening and the information that's going out. I'm excited when I see the videos of the people in South Africa on the streets who are excited about the movie, because this movie is going to premiere in South Africa. I'm not sure if you do you have a date at the moment, um, Ronald?
we do have a date. I'm not sure if
But
I
you
should
don't have to
disclose.
say it. Don't say it right now. Don't say
Yeah,
it. If
because
you don't want to say it,
the enemy is watching. They're listening.
yeah. So we're not going to
But
say we're not going to say
yeah,
it right now. But what I'm saying is, guys, look out. Watch out for the information, and you can go to Hebrewstonegroes.com. Is it Hebrewstonegroes.com, Ron?
no, it's so by the end of this week, I say latest Monday, we will announce the location and the date and the time to the public, and then the naysayers and those that want to see this canceled again, they can say, "Aha! They didn't find another venue. They're slick guys. These guys are slick. Let's see if we can make some phone calls and get it canceled." So at the end of the day, um, when you book a venue, you sign a contract and you make payment, and we can we can get another venue, sign contract, make payment, and then the enemy can say, "Let's try to cancel this one too." They could try to cancel, plan B, and then we come up with plan C, and then we said we signed another contract, we made payment. Okay, now these guys gonna try to cancel our third plan. We're just gonna let them try to do what they want to do. But right now, we're going to keep the venue location a secret until the end of the month, end of the week, and the latest Monday. And we have to understand, like the word Negro too seems to offend people. And I told people in South Africa, I said, I know that this word is somewhat offensive. And I said, but let's break it down. I said, in English, the word black is black. It's black. And I said, in Hebrew, the word for black is shakor. In Arabic, the word for black is azwad. Azwad. You go to an Arabic man and say, hey, this pick is the color black. How do you say black in your language? He's gonna say aswad. If you go to Spain and Portugal, you say, how do you say black? The word black. They're gonna say negro. Negro. You go to the Vatican and you speak Italian, and you say, hey, or Latin. You say, hey, how do you say black in Latin? They're gonna say Niger or Niger.
Mm.
Niger. Niger. Everybody's a Hebrew Israelite knows that the word Niger in Latin means black. So when we look at the Spanish and Portuguese, who were one of the earliest people that started to trade slaves, uh, and they supplied slaves to Spain. Well, the Portuguese supplied a lot of the slaves to the Spanish colonies like Cuba, Puerto Rico, and even like in South America, because they didn't have ships like the Portuguese did. The Portuguese were seafarers. They had a lot of ships, and they were supplying the Spanish with slaves too, because the Portuguese and Spanish are like, or they're like this. They're like brothers. They're like, they're two of the same people. Their language is off the Romance language, and so, you know, even in like France and Germany and Luxembourg and Belgium, I think the word for black is based off the word swarthy, like Swarty. If you can look at that, you can look at break down the Germanic languages and how the word black is not black like in English, but it's swarthy. So the word Negroes is what they initially started to identify us in the early parts of the 1500s, when black people were brought as slaves from Angola to Brazil to America. They were brought to Sao Tome, Principe, Cape Verde, Cuba, all these different islands that were Portuguese, Spanish settlements, and the people on the ship, they were black, so they said these are Negroes. Just like the word
Mm.
Negrito is little Negroes. Negritos
Right.
is little Negro. So, you know, nigger and Negro is, of course they kind of sound the same, but at the end of the day, we have to understand the etymology of the word Negro and how it was used in America. And then they changed it to colored and then African American. But everybody kind of understands what the word Negro means in different parts of the world. So that's the reason why I use Hebrews to Negroes. In addition to the fact that it kind of rhymes when you listen to it, you say Hebrews to Negroes. It kind of rhymes. So I
Yeah,
kind of
I
like
mean,
that.
you're an artist as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah. So and then like, the brother that said we should talk to somebody, at this stage in the game, um, if you want to believe you're a space alien or Egyptian or a Kushite or an indigenous Indian, if you believe that you're indigenous to the Americas and you're not from Africa, if you want to believe that you're descendant of ape, like the evolution theory, you can believe what you want to believe. If you don't believe that we are the Hebrews and we are the Gentiles and we're the children of Rome, of like the Romans and Grecians, and we're Edomites and Canaanites and anything else other than being a Hebrew, then that's fine. You can believe that. I'm not stopping you. You can go teach that in your congregation, in your circle of friends. We don't care. At this moment, we're focused on waking up the lost sheep of Israel worldwide. We're not worried about people saying we're the Egyptians. Stop teaching that nonsense. We're the Hebrews, or we predate Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We've been here for 50,000 years. There's no such thing as we're Hebrews. Okay, well, that's fine. You want to believe that, just believe that. But we're going to continue on the mission of teaching people in the West and in the Caribbean and in Africa, the Bantu people, sub-Saharan Africa, that your identity is connected to the children of Israel. And if they can prove us wrong otherwise, then they can do their due diligence and then they can do their own research and say Ron's book and movie is wrong. I've done the research. I don't believe it. Okay, that's fine. You don't believe it, but there's a lot of people that are believing it, and this is not a coincidence. This is just part of the prophecy that states that we will, uh, you know, come from out of that dry bone status that we're in. Because when you go into Haiti and you go into the ghettos of America, the favelas in Brazil, in Bahia, and you go to like the rural areas in Africa, even into certain areas in South Africa, and you see the poverty that's there, and people say, "Oh, it's not a good area. That's a dodgy area. You can get carjacked, you can get robbed, and it's not safe there at night." Well, when I look at Africa and even America and other areas, I see the same thing that the Bible says in Ezekiel. It says that our bones are withered. It says that
Mm.
our hope is lost and we are divided. And when you've been oppressed for so long, your parents are oppressed, your grandparents are oppressed, your children just see you being oppressed, and then they start to get older and they feel like they're oppressed too. Then you start to you start to have like a sense of hopelessness.
Yeah.
Like what is my life going to be if all I see is poverty and pain and struggling and oppression and discrimination and hatred and racism, and no success happening in my community, in my village, in my city. So you start to lose hope, and then you look at the fact that we're not united. Black people are not united. If we were, we would have power. We don't have no power. These other nations have power. They're united. That's why all these nations are in Africa: the Chinese, the Russians, the East Indians, the Arabs, the Jews, the Pakistani, it's all walks of life. Even Mexicans are here in South Africa. They're
Mm,
all united on what they're coming here to do. And when they come here to do what they plan on doing, they execute it and they do it. And then we look around and say, well, why are we working for them when they are immigrants here? They're invaders. They
mm,
came from other lands and they're not they came from other lands and they came to our land and they're prospering over us. We've been here for thousands of years.
mm,
After a while, you gotta ask yourself. You say, what are we doing wrong here? Like these other nations are here and they're surviving, they're thriving, they're succeeding. They're at the top levels of everything in our society. And so you look at that, and it's no brainer for you to feel like there's not a lot of hope. And then you look around and you got tribes divided against each other. They're angry. They have bitterness towards other tribes based on past history and stereotypes. And you start to, when I look at the scriptures, this is exactly what I see. And the dry bones prophecy states that we will reverse that as a people, and we will become a massive army. We will become two sticks to become one. And the Bible does tell a period of increase for our people and restoration and liberation. So yeah, so we're just doing what the Bible is already prophesying that's going to be done, and I'm excited to be here in South Africa, pushing the message and noticing that the enemy is fighting hard to stop it. Therefore, I know that we're doing the right thing because if the
yeah.
enemy wasn't trying to fight us, then we wouldn't be doing the right thing. Like if all these black conscious leaders and teachers uh, for years have been on YouTube, um, Breakfast Club, Vlad TV, Drink Champs, invited to all types of engagements to speak, get paid to speak, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If they're not being banned and censored and deleted off of these platforms, then they can't be a threat. They can't be a
Mm,
threat if the Gentiles are allowing them to continue to talk their message to thousands, if not millions of people. Why would the Gentiles and our antagonists, our enemy, why would they allow us to uncover information and messages and things of that nature that they see as a threat? They will shut it down. They would just delete your YouTube channel. They will ban you. They will censor you. They will not invite you nowhere. The Breakfast Club and all these platforms will just not invite. Because remember, the Breakfast Club has millions of listeners, people listening. The Breakfast Club all around the world. So why don't they let you get the microphone to say your message to millions of people, black and white, if they know what you're going to say is a detrimental threat to their power structure? And that's the reason why I say that the only thing that matters to them is keeping us from not knowing our identity as the Israelites. That is number one, because they cannot let that information be known that we are the true Israelites, and those that say that they are the Israelites are actually the children of Japhet. Number two is when the world finds out, I believe, that the true land of Canaan, aka the land of Israel, aka the land of milk and honey, the true land of Canaan and Israel is not in modern day Israel, but it's in sub-Saharan Africa. The day that we can prove that, which I'm going to do very soon, the day we can prove that and make it known that this area up here is not the land of milk and
Listen,
honey.
that's a whole nother show, and I know
Yeah,
Elder and Coast.
that's,
Yeah,
that's the critical.
Elder and Kosi has been on, and He's such a wonderful person. He's been sharing that and coming on almost every evening. And he's one of the first persons. I know it's been out there, but he's one of the he actually is the first person, Elder Nkosi, that I heard with that teaching. And so I would love for us to have another discussion about that. But for right now, I am just so happy that this is in happening in South Africa, with a little knowledge that I have about that whole issue. I'm so happy that it's happening in South Africa at the moment, and that South Africans are really warming up to this movie and are opening up themselves to the knowledge. I watched a program that you were on, being interviewed in South Africa, and the comments were like, "Listen, I've been learning so much." So once we focus on the people, the South African people, I think we're going to be good, because they are the ones that you're bringing the message to. We want to stay in touch with you, Ronald. I know you don't have a lot of time today, so we're going to stay in touch with you again, because we want to know exactly when it's going to be premiering in South Africa. And we want to hear some of the highlights from it and the comments of people after they have seen the movie, etc., in South Africa. So we want to stay tuned. Thank you so much for coming on today, and for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're very busy getting everything organized. And people, listen up. Something's gonna happen in the Caribbean as well. We're gonna Caribbean people. We're gonna wake up, and the sticks are gonna come together. The bones are coming together in the Caribbean region as well. Yes, this is exciting. Ronald, before you go, is there anything that you want to say to those who are listening?
Yeah, so um, the website that I have, www.thenegronetwork.com. We're gonna upload the new venue information on there, probably this weekend. And then when you go to that website, www.thenegronetwork.com, you'll see the new venue location, the date, the time, all the details, the links, the super links or hyperlinks to click on to actually get to the box office where you can buy tickets online, or you can show up on a date at the door and buy tickets that way. Either way is fine. Just keep in mind, if you come to buy tickets at the door, we do have a limited seating. Um, a lot of these venues don't hold no more than 500 or 600 people. So if 1,000 people show up at the door, then everybody's not going to get in. So
Mhm, mhm.
buying your ticket online is easy. It ensures that when you get there, you're going to get your seat, and you just got to get there early so you don't sit in an area of the theater that you're like, I really didn't want to sit all the way over here. I wanted to sit right here. Well, if you get there early enough, then you can sit anywhere you like, as long as the seats are available. But if you come late, which we do a lot of times in the Black community, you might see that the tickets are sold out, or you got to sit way over here, and then your wife has to sit over here, and people are not willing to move around. So you want to try to do this sooner than later, because we don't know how many people are going to show up, because Soweto and these other areas like Pretoria, Johannesburg, these are big cities. These are not like some cities in America. Like Johannesburg is huge. You can drive hours and still be in the Johannesburg, area. But then you got Pretoria, you got Soweto, and it's a lot of people there. There's this concentration of black people everywhere, and so it's easy to fill up a theater if it only holds 400, 500, 600. That's easy if people are excited and they're coming with their whole family, which a lot of people have already bought tickets for their whole family. When people buy tickets, like for the first venue, they bought not just one ticket but four tickets. So they're coming with their their wife, their husband, and their cousins, their aunties, their uncles. So they're not just coming by themselves; they're coming with others, and they're making it a date out of it, uh, to do something
Wow.
different, to learn something new, and to be a part of the event of people that's going to be there from America, the Congo, South Africa, and other countries. They're flying in from France. People are coming in from other countries to be here to be at this event, and then to also speak to the crowd, and then participate in the Q&A that's going to happen at the end.
Wow. And it's the negronetwork.com.
Yeah, and TheNegronetwork.com.
Right. We have it scrolling at the bottom there. And that's where, guys, if you know you have friends in South Africa, please tell them about the premiere. It's a life-changing movie. And I'm telling you, there's nothing hateful in it. People are coming to their identity, understanding who they are. There's nothing hateful. And it's going to do something to you, right? So
And
this is
and, and we're gonna and we're gonna show a sneak peek to the movie Hebrews to Negroes 3 Sound the Alarm. So those that are going to be in attendance are going to be the first people to see uh, a trailer, to a sneak peek into what the movie Hebrews to Negroes 3 is going to cover. So you don't want to miss that.
ah.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be amazing. Yeah, so
Yes,
yeah, be
wonderful.
there.
So listen, there's Hebrews to Negroes 1, Hebrews to Negroes 2, and here we have Hebrews to Negroes 3 is coming out. And there you're going to get a sneak peek into this. Let me tell you, as somebody on here said, I think it's Maureen, and I want to read this before I go. She says, I can't, the dry bones are indeed coming back together. All praises to the Almighty. And we're coming together all over. And she's in Jamaica. I know Maureen is in Jamaica. So it's happening, and it don't have to be nothing but no hate. Nobody need to hate anybody, right, Ryan? We don't, Ronald.
Right.
We don't need to hate anybody. We're just coming together. That's all
And
it is. And it is by the Spirit of God that's blowing the wind. It's blowing
yeah,
in South Africa right now. The wind is blowing, that wind and the breath of Sonini. What do you call him in South Africa?
so Nini na Nini,
Yes,
so
I
Nini na
actually
Nini.
heard. I heard your interviewer saying that in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming together. It's coming together, and the bones are coming together. And on that note, I want to thank people like yourself, Ronald, Dalton. I want to thank I can't remember her name now, but it's going to come back to me. Only Love, Dr. Only Love. She's written a book about it. I want to thank Elder Nkosi, who has been speaking and sacrifices time every evening on this topic. People, I can't remember all the names that I have come into contact with. And probably I shouldn't start calling their names. There's a wonderful Ghanaian young lady. I think you know who I'm talking about, and her name is
Yeah,
coming. What's her name
Suryam,
again?
Suryam,
Seram
Suryam.
Azanku, Seram
Yeah,
Azanku, Dr. Only Love, Ronald Dalton, Elder Nkosi. Those are the people who have taught me. And so I want to acknowledge them all. It's not one over the next. You get a bit from here and a bit from there, And so I just want to acknowledge them, and I want to say thank you to everybody who's decide that they're going to study, and that they have put themselves out there, their families out there, and risk everything to get the information out. So thank you so much. And Ronald, I'm going to call on you again, because I am super excited about what's happening in South Africa. Our people are waking up. This is a very important moment in this in this Hebrews to Negroes. It's a wake up. The wake up Africa has begun.
mm-hmm.
Wake up Africa has begun, and kicking and screaming, but it's going, is happening, because it's by the
Yep.
Spirit of God. Thank you so
Yep.
much for coming on. God bless you. And guys, share the live, share it to people in South Africa, please. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.